Good morning, boys and girls. I wanted to take you through a quick demonstration on how to complete this week's virtual lab on star composition and using the HR diagram. So here's the activity that we're going to complete. You have your background information, your procedure of how to use the animation, and the observations that you're going to record using your observations. So what you're going to end up seeing is you have your data table, you have stars A, B, C, D, and E. And then across the columns, you have the brightness, temperature, elements present, spectral class, HR diagram location, and star color. So I'm going to show you the animation we're going to use. And here it is. So the procedure that's written here, if you, we'll scroll back up to the top. If you scroll down, this is the background information that you see on the front of the activity. And this is the same procedure that you're going to end up using. Now, a couple things that you have not seen before, have we not discussed, has to do with what's called the spectral class and the spectral lines. So, with any star, our HR diagram categorizes stars in a couple different ways based on color, based on temperature, and based on the luminosity or the brightness. So you are going to take these individual stars and place them into the diagram based on the information that's given. So we're going to do one or two of them together here. And I'm going to pick star A. Now, what you're given here is you're given the brightness, and it's just going to be high, medium, or low, and you're given the temperature. What you're also given are these lines that kind of look like a barcode, and that's exactly what it is. It is a barcode of the spectral lines. Remember last week we talked about the Doppler effect? Red away, blue to you. Stars that are red are moving away. Stars that are blue are moving to you. This is showing you just that. Now, what this is your fingerprint here, and these individual lines represent the fingerprint of different elements. So I'm going to choose calcium, and you're going to see all of these lines pop up, and this is the spectral lines for calcium. What we want to do is compare the stars lines with the calcium lines, and we're going to use this box to do that. And we're going to click on it and we can drag it. And what we want to do is we want to line up the lines, and you can see those two lines match. If we keep moving along the line here, these two thicker lines match, these two double lines match up, these lines match up, and you can kind of see as we keep scrolling through that the matte lines are pretty much matching up perfectly. What that means is that this star, star A, contains the element calcium. So if I were to choose another element, let's say sodium, and I do the same thing, we don't see anything lining up. We see, looks like one line's lining up, but not quite. Look, if you take a look, the star has that double line. Sodium only has the single line. Keep moving across, we don't see a match. What that tells us is that this star does not have sodium. So what we would do is we would go through the list. So we know that the star has calcium. We click on helium. Doesn't look like anything matches up. So the star does not have helium. Click on hydrogen. So we got a match here. We got a match here. We got a match here. So the star has helium in it. And we'll click on mercury. And right off the bat, we can see that there's a match here. Doesn't match here. Not here. Not here. So even if there is one match, you do have to go through the whole thing to make sure that there are more lines that match up. You can't just go solely on one line. You have to go through the whole thing to make sure that there is a definite match. So we know for sure that this star has, I believe it was, calcium and hydrogen. All right. So now what we can do is we can start plugging that information into our data table. So we got our brightness, we got our temperature, we got the elements present. Now we need the spectral class letter. And what we're simply going to do is click on spectral class, and it's going to give us this nice little list here. And you're given the type, that's the class. You're given the temperature range and the prominent spectral features. We are more concerned with using the temperature and comparing it to the chart over here. So the temperature of star A is 20,000 degrees Kelvin. So we're going to go over here and we're going to see where 20,000 falls. and it falls in between 11,000 and 25,000. So that tells us that this star is a Class B star. Now, we want to place the star into our HR diagram. So we now know that the temperature is 20,000 degrees Kelvin. We know that it's a Class B star. So we're going to click on the star and we're going to drag it to the location. And we're going to drop it in. And we're going to check it. And we're going to see if it's correct. And sure enough, it is. If it isn't correct, it's obviously going to tell you, and you're going to have to try again. So that's pretty much the animation in a nutshell. We're basically categorizing stars based upon their brightness, their temperature, and their spectral class. Something that you do need to be aware of. If you do reset, the stars are no longer the same. The temperature for star A is now 6,200 degrees Kelvin, and the brightness is moderate. So if you do end up resetting, all of your information is going to be different. So please be very careful as you are doing that. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that's a quick little run through of what it is that you guys are going to be doing with this animation. If you have any questions as you're going through, please send me a message and I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. Keep this in mind, this is a shorter week. So all of your assignments, both assignments, are due Friday at 11 p.m. All right, enjoy the next couple days, everybody.